Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault 2, and we're back out here in the garage for another garage gun talk. And in today's video, I want to address a question that I got regarding the guns that I review and why I review them, especially when it pertains to guns that are older designs, discontinued, or no longer in production, or are just old. And I may have misinterpreted that comment, but I do want to address it. But before I do have something to say about YouTube comments. Yesterday, my video about scams kind of blew up. The weird thing about the Texas Gun Vault 2 is when I'm making these videos, I literally am just turning on my camera because I have something I want to say to my biggest fans. And I say that kind of jokingly. I'm a nobody. And I always expect to get 200 views on these videos and pretty much talk to the same people every day because I enjoy that and I love that interaction. But sometimes I'll make a video that I have no intention of trying to get big or that, and it just kind of gets big. And yesterday's video was that regarding scams, which kind of surprised me. Because as I said, I don't think I create clickbaity content here or do clickbaity thumbnails, but I'm glad so many people enjoyed that video and hearing the stories regarding scams from a gun content creator's perspective and also how I got scammed a little bit. But the comments I got on that video, and I'm noticing this more and more on YouTube, that even though somebody comments, the comments will not show up or populate in my YouTube studio, but they're not banned. So for example, I have a filter on the comments where if you say certain words, it will immediately flag them for me to review. So if you pretty much, all the words you're not typically allowed to say in polite company, that whole George Carlin skit, and I can review them or not and allow them or not. And so I'm noticing, though, that sometimes comments are getting posted where they don't go into the comments to review section, but they don't show up on my YouTube studio. And the only way that I can see them is when I take off all of the filters, and the filters meaning like the ones I haven't responded to or whatever. And sometimes they'll populate there, and I realize that I'm not getting to respond to everybody's comment. And I try to go back through those. So if you made a comment on my videos and have not received a response, and it seems to be a normal thing, email me and let me know, and I'll double check and see if maybe you're getting caught in like this filter, or maybe I need to set the approval settings for different people, because it's not you, it's not me, it's just YouTube. And this has been something I've been kind of battling with because I like to make sure that I respond to every comment on both of my channels. Okay, so let's talk about the comment that I got. And I want to say, I don't remember the exact person. I didn't ban them or anything. I kind of interpreted their comment to be a little bit snarky. But that's the thing about online comments, is that sometimes you can't infer the tone and the meaning behind it. But somebody asked me in one of my recent range reports on some gun that's discontinued. They asked, why do I review old and discontinued guns? Because it's irrelevant content, you're wasting people's time, and what was the other thing that they said? Anyway, it was generally, that was the idea. And I could tell from the comment they thought that my video on whatever gun it was, it could have been a revolver or whatever, was a waste of their time. Why would I make a video on that when I should be only making videos on current production guns, new stuff? And I actually kind of thought that was a short-sighted way of looking at it. I tried to respond to the comment and give them reasons why I review the guns that I do. Well, the first reason that I review the guns that I do is because they're linked to the channel. And I'm always honored and humbled when people do that. I have a pretty extensive gun collection, but my friends have even greater gun collections, or guns that I don't have, or they collect different types of guns that I don't collect. So I'm always honored and humbled when they're like, hey, I have this, do you want to review it? Well, of course. So I want to create gun content, And I always say I'm an average gun guy creating content for average gun people. I know that I'm not charismatic. I don't do videos where I try to lie to you or show off or be an influencer. I mean, I like, for example, Coleon the War. I like Coleon the War. But he doesn't just sit down and talk to his camera. He sits down and things are edited, scripted out. Things are the way that he presents himself with like the music and the editing of the videos, and things go in and out of focus. And, you know, he's trying to do an entertainment channel. And that's great. But I'm not trying to do that. I don't have the time, the resources, the knowledge, or the care to do that, because that's not the audience that I'm trying to cater to. I'm all about the information. And some people are not going to like that presentation style, and that is okay. As much as I try to make my content for everyone, which is my goal, you know, I don't really curse in my videos. I want my channel to be G-rated, that if you're watching my videos and you have your kids in the background, you know that you're not going to see or hear anything inappropriate or anything that comes, you know, close to a line. And that's what I pride myself on. Is that for everybody? Absolutely not. And I am not offended if people click away, don't watch my videos, or even, I guess now there's a feature where you can tell YouTube, do not recommend this channel to me. And if people click that, that's totally okay with me, and I totally get it. But I want to create content that nobody else makes. And whether you like that or not, that's one thing. But I made a little list of why I review guns that are discontinued. And the first one is to make gun content for gun people. I just like to talk about guns and learn about them. Even if it's guns that I'll never shoot, never get to see in person, I like to watch videos on them because I like to gain knowledge. Knowledge to me is the most important thing in the entire world. It's more valuable than money. It's more valuable than just about anything else, with the exception of your loved ones and your relationships. But knowledge is power. So I just want to have as much knowledge about everything as I possibly can. And it's not just about guns. If people know me, they know I'm an absolute geek. I mean, I could sit and talk astronomy all day. I can sit and talk history. I love American history. I love world history. You name it. People always joke that I know everything, you know. And I kind of do. But it's just one of those things where I just love to learn about everything. Now, other reasons I might want to review a discontinued gun. The first one is because somebody might actually own that gun or inherit that gun. So I got a gun out here that is actually kind of on the workbench for review that's coming up. This is the last of the 45 ACP chambered Glock pistols that I haven't reviewed yet. And this is the Glock 36. And I am sorry about my dog barking in the background. You know that I try to come out here and make a video and they just bark. I'm so sorry. That's annoying to you. Hopefully they'll stop. But this is the Glock 36 single stack 45 ACP pistol. And it's my understanding that while this is technically still in the catalog, it's discontinued, or they just don't make it anymore. So why would I review this gun? Well, as I said, somebody might own it and, you know, pull it out of their safe and go, I wonder what other people think about that gun. Maybe they inherited that gun, that, you know, maybe their uncle passes away and they get this and they're like, I have no idea about this gun. What does somebody else think? Oh, and by the way, I have not safety checked this gun in front of you. I have before I filmed the video. I have to address all of the safety sallies. I have my workbench right now set up to review a Huxworks Flow 556K suppressor tonight. And I'm going to use this LWRC M6 ICA5 right here. So it's pointed at the camera, and I haven't cleared that either. So if you're a safety Sally, don't worry, bullets cannot go through time and space in the electronic medium to come out your phone, television, or whatever you're watching me on and hurt you. Same thing goes with this gun. I don't have to safety check it because I know it's unloaded. I already have. And I can point it at you and you're not in any danger because I'm not pointing the gun at anybody. But anyway, somebody might inherit this gun and want to know about it. So I think doing a review on it is a very valid reason for making that content. Another reason is somebody might go to a gun show or a gun shop and see one, and they want to know, is it worthy of picking up? Do they want to get it? You know, as I've gotten older, my tastes in guns have changed. I think that we just get older and wiser. I remember when I was younger, I only cared about the new, cool, and interesting stuff that was just on the market. You know, if I ever went to a gun show, I immediately went to the booths that had all the new guns. And don't get me wrong, I still love the new guns, the new stuff that's coming out. And I never looked at the booths or the tables where you had the used guns, or the people that were just selling their old collections. Maybe they're just getting up in age and they're looking to liquidate what their collections, get a little bit of money for retirement, and they're just doing that, just selling their personal collections. And I overlooked those. I was like, I don't want to go look at some old beat up, scratched up guns. I want to go look at the new stuff, the latest and greatest. And now that I'm older, and now that I have reviewed many older cool guns, I have come to really appreciate those. And so now, if in the off chance I actually go to a gun show, which I don't have time to, I actually find myself going through the tables and the booths with the old stuff, the used stuff, and kind of going through that, because sometimes you're going to find a diamond in the rough there, a gun that is discontinued, that's really cool, really rare, or just mechanically interesting, that you're not going to see at the shops that are selling the new stuff. So I feel like some people that are like me, maybe gotten a little bit older, maybe a little bit more mature, and their tastes in guns have changed, they're going to want to look at gun content that might cater to the guns that they have a chance of buying or want to buy, or maybe they picked up. And I also want to document knowledge for the future. When I was younger, one of the most profound things that I heard that really kind of shaped my perspective on life came from Rush Limbaugh. Now, we're not here to talk about Rush Limbaugh. I'm sure some of you guys loved him. Some of you guys didn't care for him, whatever. We're not here to talk about that. What we are here to talk about is what he said on some show that just stuck with me. He said, the problem with arguing or debating people that are, I don't think he used the word ignorant, but don't have a grasp of knowledge, typically is that from their perspective, history began when they were born. So if it's not in the moment, it's not right now, it didn't happen in their lifetime, it's irrelevant. So for example, for a lot of us, I know that if you're watching this channel, the odds are you were not alive when Pearl Harbor happened, or if you were, you have no memory of Pearl Harbor. But to a lot of people, December the 7th, 1941 was a huge, huge event. I know it shaped my grandparents' lives. I remember talking to my grandma about that, and what she experienced and thought that day, and how my grandfather ended up going to war and fighting in World War II. So that was a very pivotal moment. But for someone like myself, I have visited Pearl Harbor. I've read the textbooks, I've seen the videos, I understand the history, but it doesn't have the same impact to me. And to a lot of people, it's just another event in history. The day that will live in infamy is just another historical event that has no real bearing on their life, and they don't think about how that day shaped where they're at today and what we're doing, which, if that day didn't happen, I wouldn't be here talking about this, because the world would be so different, from the people that were affected by World War II to all the different events, okay? So people don't appreciate that. And I kind of feel like that's what this commenter was kind of coming from, that who cares about the old stuff? Why review a discontinued or old gun? Because it has no bearing on their life, because they only live right now in the moment. And I don't fault them for thinking that way, because I think we all think that way at some point in our lives. But I hope that as we get older, we're able to put things in perspective, and kind of history in perspective. And so I want to make sure that I document knowledge in some capacity for the future. So whether or not my video is cool and exciting on this Glock 36, at least I'm putting the knowledge and the information out there, that it documents it from somebody's perspective, or maybe as time goes on, that's the only information that survives. One of the things that was told to me when I got my doctorate degree, if you don't know, I have a doctorate degree. And when I wrote my dissertation, somebody told me that you're essentially helping build a house brick by brick. So when I wrote my dissertation, in the moment, I only cared about my dissertation, and I wasn't really thinking about the future. But it was explained to me that my dissertation, which, if you know, has to be unique and a specialized research into something that hasn't been researched and looked at before, that you are creating something that other people will build upon. Like, I cited other people's documents, other people's information in my dissertation, and I combined it with other research that I was doing, original research. And when I had that published, other people have already used my dissertation in theirs, citing my dissertation as a source of information. And I've gotten emails and comments, and occasionally I'll get one from time to time. People will track me down and say, "Hey, Jason, in your dissertation on page blah, 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 you said this. What do you think? Do you still have this?" And sometimes I'm like, I have no idea. I have to go look at it. I'll try to track that information down. But it's truly building a house brick by brick. So when I create a video about this Glock 36, I'm just putting the information out there that could hopefully stand the test of time. And I do my very best when it comes to my videos of making them, I jokingly say, future-proof. I try not to mention things that would date the video. I mean, you're always going to date the video based off of maybe what I wear, what I say, or whatever, or if I mention a current event. Even my ads that I run for Brownworks, I think, in a way, I guess, don't future-proof the video. I mean, if Brownworks drops me as somebody that they support, or Brownworks one day retires and no longer makes the grips, that aspect of the video is irrelevant. But the information that I try to give on the gun hopefully is future-proof. And I don't mention prices. I don't mention things, because I've actually had older videos before I lost my original channel that might have mentioned prices. I might say, "Oh, right now, this is what they go for if a gun just recently came out." And then I'll have some knucklehead like 5 years later and go, "You're an idiot. You need to go do your research. This isn't a new gun, and it doesn't go for that much money." And I'm like, oh my God, did you not see that video is 6 years old? I mean, it makes my head hurt. So that's why I try to future-proof my videos the best that I can. I can't do it perfectly, but I try not to mention information that would date the video to just that time, because I still get comments on videos that I made, well, I guess on my new channel, things that I published almost 2.5 years ago, or I guess about 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. But some of my old videos that I re-uploaded from my old channel are 4 years old, 5 years old. And I still get comments on those because people might ask questions about it or think that they're relevant. But yeah, so I feel sad for people that only look at life through the perspective of their lifetime and don't understand, history. They don't understand that perspective. And I actually brought out something thinking about not understanding your place in history and other people's perspectives throughout history. I got something off my wall from my music room that I absolutely find fascinating. This is a medieval Bible leaf from the year 1240. So this is written on animal vellum. It comes from a Bible. This is the last page in that Bible, and it would have been folio 1839, and it's the end of the book of Revelations. And let me read you about this a little bit here. It says, this is an original leaf from an English manuscript pocket Bible from approximately circa 1240 from the workshop of William de Brails, one of the few 13th century English illuminators known by name. De Brails maintained an active workshop in Oxford from 1238 to approximately 1252, and he was the illuminator of the Oxford Bible. This is written in brown ink in Latin Gothic script on animal vellum. And it says produce Oxford circa 1240. It's a miniature Bible, so it has 12 lines per inch. And then at the bottom it has the translation from Latin. So let me give you a close-up of this. I don't know if that's going to help at all, but yeah, so I love history, love historical documents, and I had this framed, and back here is the certificate of authenticity on the back, but I hang this in my music room along other, that is dusty, historical documents like old printed music. I have some early printed music from like 1536 in there as well in my collection. But the reason I bring this out is the person that created this. I mean, think about this. In 1240 AD, that is, oh man, just shy of what, 800 years old. This is 800 years old. That the person that created this is long gone. All of the battles of his life, the people he loved, the people he didn't get along with, the things that he ate, the things that he did, the places that he lived, are all gone and forgotten to history. Just like everything that we do right now will be long gone for the most part, you know? And that's just the way life is. And it's a little bit depressing. And think about all the people on this planet that have lived and died since this was created, that you know nothing about, will never know nothing about, and all the knowledge of their life, what they did on every day, is lost to history. And I sometimes like to look at this and put that into perspective and think about my life and think about what I do and what will my legacy be. And by legacy, I don't necessarily mean that in 800 years, someone's going to know who Jason of the Texas Gun Vault was, okay? Whether that be because of what I did with firearms or music or whatever, but I like to think that I influenced other people in a positive way and that I helped build that house brick by brick, that humanity 1,000 years from now will be better, and somebody will be better because I existed in some small form. And maybe that my videos for a short period of time, for the next 25, 30 years, will document something about a firearm that might not have a lot of information out there, that somebody else in the future will find that video and maybe take that information and write it down, and that information will not be lost. So anyway, it's kind of a long answer to a short question, but I know somebody was a little bit, snarky with me, but that is why I review all guns, whether they be new or old or discontinued. And I think that every range report that I create is relevant because of that. So there you go. That's my thoughts on that. So let me know what you think about anything I talked about today, whether that be the YouTube comment issue. I don't know if any of you guys are having problems with that, but as I said, if you comment on my videos a lot and you don't get a response, email me and let me know, because maybe I'm not seeing them. And then that's my thoughts on why I review all guns for a multitude of different purposes. So anyway, thanks for joining me here in the garage, and I guess I got to go inside and dust off my other documents that I have framed, because this thing was a dusty. But yeah, I look at this on my wall in my music room, and it really puts things in perspective. Not a lot of people have anything in their lives that's almost 800 years old, and I do. And so I get to look at this and go, wow, I can't imagine the people that this has been in possession of. I mean, if you just go, hey, every generation is 30, 40 years old, I mean, you're talking, what is that? I mean, a lot of generations of people have owned this, and I'll never know who. I mean, where was this in 1740 or on July the 4th, 1776? Where was this document? I don't know. And that's kind of cool to think about. So anyway, actually an interesting fact, that July 4th should not be our Independence Day. July the 2nd should be our Independence Day. That was the day that the Continental Congress actually voted on independence, and New York abstained from that vote. In fact, John Adams said, July 2nd will go down in history as the day Americans celebrate their independence. But it wasn't published until July the 4th, and that's why we consider July the 4th Independence Day. So anyway, see, I told you, I kind of know everything. I say that in a kind of a joking way. I don't actually know everything. I know most things. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you watch to the end of this video and can put up with my speaking and boring voice and boring videos, the word of the day is going to be discontinued. Discontinued is the word of the day, because I review discontinued guns from time to time. And if you use that word in the comment, I know that you are a true vault dweller. So thanks again for joining me here in the garage. I always enjoy making these videos and interacting with you. And as always, thanks for watching.